Hey, just before we jump into the episode, I'm wondering if you're using Medic at your company. If you're an AE or a sales leader listening to this, I've implemented Medic 3 times when I was a VP of sales, and now I help sales organizations implement Medic with their teams. I've got a free deal scorecard that you can basically evaluate and score your opportunities using the MedPick framework to see where you've got gaps, where there's risk in your forecast, so that you can identify them and do something about it and mitigate that risk. So if you want to get a copy of that, head over to the website. There'll also be a link in the show notes. Go to therevenueenabler.com. You'll see there's a drop down called the Learning Hub. There's a button called the Downloads. When you go there, you're looking for the MedPick deal score sheet. You can get instant access to that, as well as other things like the What We've Heard slide, my ghosting playbook, cold call scorecard, story builder, AI sales assistant, and so much more. So head over to therevenueenabler.com, go check out the Learning Hub and our downloads, and let's jump into the episode now. Hey guys, welcome back to the Hit Your Numbers podcast. Today, I'm going to give you like a really tactical way to handle a cold call. I wouldn't say it's an objection, but some resistance at the beginning of the cold call. So I know I do these big, like more formal podcast episodes. I want to start bringing you more regular content. So I'm going to mix that up with some of this more like transactional kind of content on the podcast. So what I'm going to talk about today is, where did you get my number from? So you started the cold call. Hey, Sarah, this is James at the Revenue Enabler. Look, we've never spoken before, but can I just take 30 seconds to explain why I'm calling you today? I promise to be brief. And they go, where did you get my number from? Now, I'm out traveling a lot, meeting sales organizations, doing a lot of my team trainings. And when I'm preparing for those sessions, I ask the sales leadership and the sales team to tell me, what are the top 5 objections or frustrations or challenges they run into when they're making cold calls. And a lot of the time they get this, where did you get my number from? And they really struggle in that area. So, I want to kind of put together something today, which is what I give to them to overcome that. And it's really helping them get around that challenge and have a valuable conversation with their prospect. So just like 3 things you need to think about when you open that cold call from your buyer's side. The problem is a lot of salespeople have never been a buyer. I was a VP of sales a few times, so luckily I got to experience being on both sides, the seller and the buyer. And when that cold call comes through, it's usually not at the best time. You're usually in the middle of something, whatever, right? And there's kind of 3 things that might be going through that person's head. Who are you? What do you want? And how do I get rid of you if it doesn't sound like a valuable conversation? Okay, so who are you? What do you want? And how do I get rid of you? And in most cases, buyers know if they say things like, send me an email, where did you get my number from? Most salespeople are going to struggle with that, and it's going to get rid of you so they can go back to that spreadsheet they're updating for their boss that needs to be sent in the next 60 minutes, for example. Okay, so when someone says, hey, so I say, hey, this is James at Revenue Enabler. Look, being honest, we've never spoken before, but can I take 30 seconds to explain why I'm calling you today? I promise to be brief. And they say, James, where did you get my number from? What I don't want you to say, which is what 99% of sales reps say is, I got it from Lusha, or ZoomInfo, or Cognizant, or whatever tool you're using. They literally say, we got it from this tool that we use, a sales tool that we use called Lusha. Like, the buyer doesn't want to hear that you're using a sales tool called Lusha to get their mobile number, especially if it's their personal number. So rather than doing that, because then they're going to be like, well, can you take me off your list, please? And then you're like, yes, no worries. As soon as I come off the call, I'll take off the list. That's all good. While I've got you, and then they're like, their guards up, right? So rather than doing that, what we're finding with teams, and this isn't just like, I had this idea while I was sat in the car, like we're actually seeing sales organizations use this successfully, is just lean into value and push the blame to, say, marketing, for example, okay, or back to the business. So if they say, hey, where did you get my number? Don't say, I got it from Lusha. Say, look, we've just helped Acme reduce their time to hire by 57%. So my marketing organization gave us a list of 50 companies that look just like that business. And you're one of those. And we thought that you'd probably want to hear how we've been able to do that. Would it be okay if I just took 30 seconds of your time to explain how we've been able to reduce time to hire by 57%? The reason that this approach works is because you're anchoring on value. If I'm phoning the VP of talent acquisition, their primary goal is to obviously get bums on seats, and they're trying to do it fast. They're trying to reduce their time to hire. if they can reduce the time to hire, those people are in production mode fast, which means the business has got better chance of hitting its objectives. Same with sales teams, right? We just helped Acme, improve their win rates by 75%. So my marketing team went and found all the other cybersecurity companies that we can help, and you were on that list. Can I take 30 seconds to explain how we're doing it today? Like, we all can anchor on value. We just default to the basics, which is, I got it from this tool, and then you're on the back foot. So moving forwards, when you say, hey, this is James at the Revenue Enabler. Look, we've never spoken before. Can I take 30 seconds to explain why I'm calling you today? I promise to be brief. And they say, James, where did you get my number from? Don't say I got it from a sales tool called Lusha. Instead say, hey, we just helped Acme reduce their time to hire by 57%. So my marketing team went and found 50 companies that do the same thing, because we thought you'd want to hear how. Would it be okay if I took 30 seconds to explain how we're able to reduce time to hire by 57%? I promise to be brief, right? If you sound interesting and lead with value, every human being on the planet has 30 seconds. I say this all of the time in my trainings. I may never be able to validate it, but my gut tells me is if I sound interesting, Bill Gates would give me 30 seconds, right? Our job is to cut through the noise and then just deliver a great conversation, right? And that's why the words you say are important. So is your approach, like tonality and pace. They both go hand in hand. People say tone is more important than what you say. I disagree. If the words that come out of your mouth are garbage, doesn't matter how good they sound, you can't polish a turd, right? If you haven't heard that saying before, there you go. Or if you say really good things, but you say them like you're really bored, your boss has got a gun to your head, then it also won't come across well. So they're both important, right? It's not one more important than the other one. So yeah, don't fall for that advice that's going around on LinkedIn these days. But yeah, so just lean into value. Be honest. Yeah, marketing gave me a list. The business recommended that we should speak to you. We've been able to have these business outcomes. That's why we're calling you today. Would you be open to learning a little bit more? All right, guys, so that's it for today's episode. If there's anything you want to hear in these upcoming episodes, just drop me a LinkedIn message or WhatsApp or an email, and I'll make sure that we put some content together that's helpful for you in your day-to-day role, either as an SDR, an AE, or a VP of sales or a founder. All right, guys, I'll see you on the next episode of the Hit Your Numbers podcast soon. All right, thanks for listening to this episode. I've got something else I want to give you before we wrap up here. So we've built the leading skill optimization platform with 400 plus sales lessons, 12 courses from prospecting all the way through to late stage deal negotiation and more, one-to-one sales coaching and AI sales assistance. And I want to give you 7 days free access to the platform. The reason I want to do this is because nobody gets a degree in B2B sales. And after training and coaching hundreds of sales reps and teams in the last 2 years, most haven't mastered critical selling skills. And it's preventing them from being promoted, earning great money, and building a great career in B2B sales. So go to the revenueenabler.com, grab a free trial, and join hundreds of salespeople that are closing their skill gaps and mastering sales. There's a link in the video description. I'm looking forward to getting you set up. Give me a shout with any questions.